I'm sure with much confidence that the Speaker of the House got the letter to hold on the bill that came to this way until we have given a position paper. And that exactly was done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Clerk of the Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Wood, and everybody. You held the paper back until we met in various district headquarters as our House of Chiefs was prepared. So if by that way the forceful preparation of House of Chiefs in district headquarters, we were able to have a piece of paper and gave to this way, being approved by government, by the president, the government, and everybody, for which we are happy today to have that bill passed in our own convenience. I'm quite convinced with much confidence that with the approval of an office for every parliamentarian, we can be set aside. No, we are not competing with the parliament. We can be set aside to scrutinize, to support and input or trust, whatever is not good to be put into the parliament, into the bill, then we pass it to parliament for ratification. We can give it to parliament for ratification and approval. But we will not be there like we were sitting here. We will take time to talk what we want to say. We wouldn't like to be infected. Yes. Because that is what he said. On that note, sir, because I would really like to sit down if I don't come in again for the roads. The roads from Market Junction to Konon is very bad. That needs to be rehabilitated or to be treated. Fine, please. Then the road from Panguma to Blama has been given to SRA. But 10 years ago has not been treated again. It's extremely bad. Let me come to the last one, which is Dodo Agro. Long time, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you sit an exam with a question: how many, where are the hydros in this country? And name them. If you don't say Buna Hydro and Dodo Hydro, you will be failed. You will be failed automatically or totally. But Dodo Hydro was claimed by another chiefdom, for which we took 38 years on the case, and we have won it. But please, Mr. Speaker, leader of government, acting minority leader, the problem has been solved, but not completely yet. We are giving the right to the dam, and we will be given as the host of the dam, but only remaining to gazette and register it. For 2029, that was said to be done. 4 years ago, now it has not been done. So I'm pleading to this parliament to join me, to give me hands, to have it registered. And the government secondary school is the only Tabaku secondary school being approved, being given all privileges in that district, apart from the government school in Kenema. But it has challenges. The Ivory Coast light, Côte d'Ivoire, the light of Côte d'Ivoire has reached Dodo. But now to have the pole from Dodo to the secondary school is a challenge. The field officer has not accepted us at all. So I'm pleading to the Minister of Energy and Power, since he has energy by his structure, by Minister Candidates, his own structure, he can determine that he is right in that ministry to be an energy minister. So let him please come in to assist us to have the post from Dodo to the secondary school, so as they can have light. Please, that's what I'm requesting for the school. And And the Bama chief, please.
Go on,
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Paramount Chief for his contribution to the debate. And now give the floor to Honorable Rukiatu Musafa. Is it Mustafa or Musafa?
Musa Safa.
Okay.
Break it in syllables, sir.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. I'm Honorable Rukiatu Tarawali Musafa, hailing from the Great Kenema District. I'm going to tackle paragraph 17 of the President's speech that deals with technology and infrastructure initiative. And I read from there, technology and infrastructure initiative will serve as an engine for sustained economic growth, harnessing the power of innovation and robust infrastructure to propel Sierra Leone to the middle class status. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am an IT professional for 35 years. So this falls directly in my alley. You know, I look at the president as more of a patriot than a politician. Because given the chance to President Bill, he will propel this country to first-class country or first world overnight. But like he said, and so too, Safu. The world has gone digital, but where is Sierra Leone? It's like we stood still while the world was rolling by. People think that when you know how to operate your telephone, your phone, your mobile phones, or your tablets, they know what technology is. Far from it. There's more to it than that. But the president is jogging along. There has been a 50% increase in connectivity, even in the rural areas, to the internet, due to the broadband expansion. The problem we have is the e-government solutions. It's not enough. 30% is not enough. 30% transformation in the way the government does business is not enough. We can do better than that. A lot of people or workers in these government offices cannot even type a simple Word document. Training is eminent. The world has gone digital, and we are still dealing with paper. Every time you go to some of these offices, they have lost papers. I can't find your file. I can't find this. That needs to stop. We need to do training, massive training, and it's an urgency to train workers, to train the government workers in this digital age. If we have to go in there, bring outside help partnerships to make sure that we stay on top of things, we need to do that. The government needs to do that. And the president is talking about infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, my paramount chief just mentioned the roads from Mano Junction to Panguma, to Dodo, to Kono. Terrible. Very, very terrible. It's nothing to write home about. I come from a diamond area this country has benefited a lot from my area. 60 days of SLST, NDMC, and the likes. Today, diamonds are not easy to find. If you don't have equipment, heavy equipment, backhoes, you can't mine. Alluvial mining is almost next to nothing. My people are transitioning into agriculture. But with the roads in the shape they are in, the bad shape they are in, even that will be challenging. It will be difficult to get our produce to market, thereby making it unnecessary for them to go into the bush to try to foster the agricultural initiative. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, ours is an urgent need. It's an urgent need that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. The president had promised us before when he visited my area that it's in the works. We want to see it start. We don't want it in the works. We want the work to start, sir. Now, and on the technology side also, we need to do training. We need to do training because with the internet the way it is, the access to the internet, there is a lot of things that can go wrong. You have the hackers hacking into banks, hacking into government systems. Our cyber security area should be beefed up. That is very, very important. Because when these hackers get into the systems, it's war. Getting them out is not easy. So the president is on the right track with his technology and innovation issues. We need to have him put things in place to fast track things. We can't be dealing with paper in this 21st century. We can't be far behind. We know that ours is not as robust as the West, but we will get there. We will get there. And I thank Mr. President for his short visit. The speech was short but sweet, and we expect him to come again. I thank you very much.
I thank the Honorable Lady for her great contribution to this debate. Wonderful. The next speaker is the Honorable Fatmata Sire. Is this Sokana? Sukana? Is she in?
Yes.
Ah, great. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can you please permit me to say these words? That thing standing before you there, normally close your eyes to watch us here, so you can catch our eyes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So I'm happy to move. I like watching your eyes and your face.
Yes, thank you.
I don't like anybody to come in between.
Mr. Speaker, I want to look at chapter 10 of the speech of His Excellency, the President, the retired Dr. Julius Maada Bio. In 5 years ago, I stood before this Parliament presenting my government's new direction manifesto and pleading to honor critical promises. Dispute facing unprecedented challenges. My government resolutely fulfilled most of these promises, even amidst global shock that have inputted the cost of living through strategic policies, interventions, and in investment in local food living through strategic policies, intervention and investment in local food production, job creation, and the betterment of the public servant livelihood. We have shared our people from the adverse effect of this shock. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you know we are new, we have to learn. So sometimes when we are taking the podium, that there is a little bit of nervousness. But please forgive us. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, I want to talk about the big five of President Bill. He came here 2018 and he made a very big mark in the country of Sierra Leone through free education, free quality education, and even in the enhancement of the women empowerment, looking at our country at that time with all the global crisis that is going on, he is able to take Sierra Leone to this level. What I want to say here is that, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have no doubt in His Excellency. That is why I want to say thank you to him. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for what you have done for the people of Sierra Leone. We are grateful and we will never forget that. Even when you stay or go, we will remember you for the rest of our life. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if the President can do what he said in 2018, he will do it again in 2023. He will work honestly for the people of Sierra Leone, for the success of our nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want this House to join His Excellency in the Big Five agenda, especially in the food security. As for me, Mr. Speaker, I will be coming to your office because I want to go to my village and do farming. And I will need your support, not by giving me money, but by talking to those authorities that are responsible for farming and other things in food security.
Thank you, Madam, for recognizing that this speaker is a very poor speaker with no money.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, I want to thank His Excellency again for this brilliant speech, and I know he will fulfill it in Jesus' name. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Lady for her contribution. I will now give the floor to the Honorable from Bujawu. And I will limit you to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I'm on my way.
By the way, I will rise at 4:15 to allow the clerk's time to go and prepare the record for tomorrow's sitting. And tomorrow, as you know, is the last allotted day and the last day of sitting before we adjourn for recess.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Recess is your holiday. You can even go overseas if you want.
How many months?
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and this Parliament for the respect you accorded my elder brother and paramount chief, who has been reported seriously sick. On my way to Ujon District to help in the arrangements his medication, Mr. Speaker. We are most grateful, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the President for his speech he so graciously delivered to this Parliament. Since 2007, Mr. Speaker, it has never had 100% seats in the Council and the Parliament. I say this because I want to talk about the inclusiveness of the governance style of His Excellency. In 2007, Mr. Speaker, SFPP had seats in the Parliament here, but we also had 3 seats for PNDC. I was one of those MPs. So SFPP did not have 100% seats. In 2008, we had 1 seat in the Council for PNDC. In 2007, we had a seat. But this year, we have, to cut it short, Mr. Speaker, we have 100% seats for SFP in the Council and 100% seats for SFP in Parliament here. All this to His Excellency. With the intervention of His Excellency, the district was united politically, and we have all independent, all SFP. So, if you again look at the composition of MPs here, there are some of us who are independent, some who are C for C. But because HE has a very good heart, was able to mobilize support of the party, he made the call to the non-SFPs to join him to make this country. I was one of those who decided to join the SFP because of the good heart of HE president. Mr. Speaker, we are one people as a country, and one person as a Pan-Africanist. I have never spoken about tribalism or regionalism negatively. I think we're people and we have one destiny. We have to see ourselves as one people. We have to be together. We have to help our country develop. That's one reason why I came to SFP. Mr. Speaker, I will talk about the flagship project of His Excellency Sierraleone, Mr. Speaker. I've held meetings with my supporters and party mates in Kujan. We have decided that we are going to lead in this. We are not just going to talk about it, we are going to do it, Mr. Speaker. We want to make a farm in our part of the country, and hopefully one day we are going to invite you to visit our farm. We are not going to make a small farm, we want to make a very big farm. We want to ensure that we make agriculture a business. We are not just going to engage in television farming where we make a farm and call people to have a look. We want to invite His Excellency and members of His government to visit our farm. We are beginning to raise funds and we are on the path to achieving that, Mr. Speaker. It's not enough to come here to lavish praises on His Excellency. It is important that we have to ensure that we feed ourselves. A very long time ago, we used to import rice, we should feed ourselves. We have all the conditions set to achieve that again, Mr. Speaker. We can make Sierra Leone great again. We have fertile soil, we have abundant rainfall, and we have human resources. What we need is to work our talk, Mr. Speaker. We are going to ensure we lead in this. Mr. Speaker, I also want to talk about at least 30%. When I hear the women say 30%, I think they have missed the point. The president has given them more than 30%. At least 30% is not 30%. I remember when we did the land laws here, we included at least 30% of each gender. At least 30% of each gender. Meaning the women can get as much as 70%. They cannot go beyond 70%. So His Excellency is the first president in history that has made this possible. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have more women than men in this country. There are at least 51% of what women. There's no way we can advance as a country if we leave behind and the majority of Sierra Leoneans. I remember Chief said, if you want to know whether a country is backward or not, you don't have to go to that country. You look at the condition of the women. If the women are kept in a backward condition, then the country will be backward. I'm happy that His Excellency has realized this fact and is making a lot of effort to ensure that we lift our women up. Thank you.
On that note,
Mr. Speaker, and this is very serious. I ran from this country and went to Gambia. I led a team of Sierraleoneans to your office. Then you're a business person. I was not as big as this person. I walked from Senegal to the Gambia, from Senegal to the Gambia on foot, using a footpath. We need security to ensure that we sustain the gains we have made so far, Mr. Speaker. I want to appeal to Sierraleoneans. We need to keep our country peaceful. We need a peaceful environment to be able to advance in development, to maintain sustainable development. For me, I want to advise all those who are thinking of bringing trouble in this country. They should advise themselves to attend to Mr. Speaker. For me, I will not go into the bush, Mr. Speaker. There's no way I can go into the bush. There's no way we are going to allow anybody to bring problem to this country. We have the ballot box. If there are elections, not all of us can win. Somebody's going to win. When somebody wins, we are going to allow that person to govern. After 5 years, there will be another opportunity to again go to the ballot box, Mr. Speaker. I want to use this opportunity to appeal to our brothers in the APC to come back so that we continue to engage, so that we run this country, Mr. Speaker. We have to maintain peace. We have to maintain peace. On August 10, I was in O. It was very, very sad day.
I see that as an endorsement of my special appeal.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. And I'm saying this from experience. I've suffered, Sierraleoneans have suffered. We're not going to allow a handful of people to make us suffer again. So let's talk, and talk is better than what? Going to war. So this is my appeal. Let them come back to the world. We are going to engage and move this country forward. Thank you very much.
I thank you, honorable member. I thank you. I now recognize the Honorable Abdullah Karim Khan. Is he in the house? He needs the mic.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to say thanks for giving me the podium this afternoon. It amazed me this afternoon to register my appreciation in this well of Parliament. First of all, I just want to look at on the statement of His Excellency the President at the state opening of the 6th Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. I want to lament about the 5 key initiatives to be accelerated the government's initiative infrastructure agenda about feeds alone. But before I talk about feeds alone, I just want to talk about section 7D, which says we need to place attention about the agriculture and put more emphasis about the agriculture sector. Governments, before we talk about feeds alone, we need to tackle about the food importation dependency, food production, and food sufficiency to sustain agricultural development. Mr. Speaker, honorable member, on behalf of the people of Koloko District, we want to thank His Excellency for his transparency and accountability entity and the key thematic economic international forum, especially on compact education, infrastructure, and economic development and implementation in our nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable member.
Somebody is being mischievous to my right.
Yes, sir.
Carry on.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker.
I catch him again.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, we also want to thank His Excellency for his special quality, innovation talent, and presidential hospitality ratio that he has for this nation. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of Koloko District, we want to thank His Excellency. We want to thank the Almighty Allah for giving us His Excellency as one of the critical people regarding as president in human race of this our nation. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, we want to thank His Excellency for his presidential architectural design, for fight against corruption, and also his Democratic Protection Act, which brings a strength English and a mighty hope for the people of this nation. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, we the people of Poloko District, we want to thank His Excellency for his ecological concern and the solidarity value by bringing peace, national cohesion, and national tranquility in our country. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, we want to thank the people of Poloko District. We want to thank His Excellency for his presidential foresight and presidential lens for always put Poloko District at the climax and the epicenter under his administrative setup. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, the people of Poloko District want to thank His Excellency to provide the coincidence of peace and national human nature. Mr. Speaker, on that note, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, the people of Koya Kingdom, especially the Paramount Chief Kopa Komoli, the third of Koya Kingdom, we want to appreciate His Excellency for being a large economic foundation in Koya Kingdom and make a positive wide and open entrance for foreign investors guarantee. Mr. Speaker,
Tell them. You know, some of you are as old as the teaching and yet not learning.
I like that ability, the traditional ability. Because I stand on SO 35.5 to talk to my colleagues that they have been very, very unfair. They have kept this particular house with less decorum, which is not fair at all to the MP from Poloko. I'm not too sure. No, you're not supporting me. I can understand public feeling fright. You will not even understand public feeling fright. Applaud in quietude or quietness. No way. You cannot. Mr. Speaker, again, I want to applaud.
I know the culprits.
Give the MPPs.
One of them is sitting right there.
Give the MPPs.
The other side here to my right.
MP, it is your day. You have the liberty to debate. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, Mr. Leader.
It's a colleague. We are just applauding him.
Yes, sir, Mr. Leader. No problem, sir.
No, you have one more minute.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, the people of Poloko District, we want to thank His Excellency for his wonderful masterpiece for regularize our country with global united prolific status. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, you are disturbing me. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, the people of Poloko District want to thank His Excellency for his special moral quality by having the interest of human intelligence. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Member, I just want to talk a few things about the agriculture sector in 2021. His Excellency government provided 54 million investments in rice cultivation in Romeswam under Agro Elite LLC.
Honorable Member. I think you exhausted your allotted time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Let me now give the floor to the Honorable Rachel Christina. Is she in the hall?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this great opportunity to debate on the presidential address of His Excellency, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. My name is Rachel Mariatu Sise Pesima from Poloko District, to be specific, Robaka Village, Tinkatoper. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I greatly believe that the Big Five game changer is the sustainable, transformative policies that we need for a sustainable economic growth and social progress. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with your leave, I would like to quote page 4, paragraph 24. I quote, "Food security holds paramount importance in the quest of a stable and democratic society, transcending its role of a mere necessity to become a foundational pillar upon which the prosperity of a nation is built. A country that ensures citizens access to a dependable food supply, cultivates resilience, safeguard public health, and foster social cohesion. This symbiotic relationship between food security, democracy, and stability empowers individuals, promotes economic stability, and mitigates the perils of social unrest." Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it takes a feeble-minded person not to believe the Big Five game changer of President Talk and Do Bio. In 2018, President Bio presented 38 clusters on his manifesto. 28 clusters were met, and 10 of which were in the pipeline, and it was on the stage of implementation. And those 10 were some of those that we are currently trying to accomplish in his second term. President Talk and Do Bio is the only president that has done so much for this country. With due respect to our previous presidents, but the things that this president has done for our people is so much that you cannot compare to the previous presidents. In Potloko district, most of our people are farmers. Like for me, both of my parents were not educated. My dad was a farmer, and with that farming, that's where he educated us and was able to send the eldest son in England for education. So for somebody that was not educated, able to accomplish that in farming, which means we can do more. Now we have more educated people, and if we embark on farming, trust me, in other countries, farmers are the richest people. So I encourage us to embark on farming so that we'll be able to accomplish the biggest goal among the Big Five game changers of the President's manifesto. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we all saw the transformation of the free quality education, the youth empowerment, and fighting against corruption. This president, as I said earlier, is a president that we will never forget in the history of Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I would like to zoom in on healthcare. We have, from 2018 to present, 50% healthcare workers have been added to the workforce. 5,000 PIN-coded healthcare workers have been awarded PIN codes in the healthcare workforce. And the president has constructed 200 healthcare facilities across the country. And for me, I have a healthcare background, and it means a lot to me. But I encourage our people, the people of Sierra Leone, for us to transform our mindsets. The presidents have done all this big 5 game changers. We need to transform our mindsets in the little things that people may think they are not important, like emergency healthcare, common CPR, to do for example, we are in the well right now. May God forbid somebody is not feeling well, or maybe somebody fall down saying that, they are irresponsive. We should have a co-worker or staff members in here that will be able to do a common CPR to be able to resuscitate anybody that is in that situation. So I encourage the government to have people, like even in restaurants, if somebody is choking, that's a healthcare situation, that's an emergency situation. You will think that it's something small, but it will save somebody's life. Schools, public government places, like, let me say, for example, like UE building. That UE building you have so many offices of the government, but there is no single healthcare personnel. If somebody has an attack, to give a common aspirin that will make that person be prevented from an heart attack is not there. Somebody that will perform a CPR to resuscitate that person and maybe take that person to the hospital for further evaluation. Things of those sorts, they are very important. But it left with us, the people, to change our mindsets. For us, even if we have the best health care, if you don't go to the hospital, do your annual checkups. I encourage the men. My dad was not used to go to the hospital. Sometimes they think, the men, like the way we women goes to the hospital, sometimes men don't. So I encourage us, go to the hospital to do your annual exams. If you are a female, do your breast exams to check for lumps monthly. Men, do your mammogram. Women, do your mammograms. Men, please go to the hospital, do your annuals. These are simple things that we will do. Your prostates, men, please. Because I know my dad suffered from this, because he wasn't going to the hospital. The earlier the prognosis, the better it is. So I encourage us, so please take advantage of these things. The president has done his part. But for us, the people of Sierra Leone, let us do those little things that will help save our lives.
Very good advice. On that note, the people of Potloko,
want to thank the president for the industrial zone in Korea. This industrial zone is going to bring us a lot of jobs for the youth of Port Loko and across the country. I know the president want to empower the youth, but it left with the youth to also take advantage of it, go to school. Now we have free quality education. Majority of those youth, they don't have the education, the basic education. If you don't have the basic education, you will not be able to benefit from these jobs. So I thank the president for that, for all that he has done for the people of Port Loko. He has built us a 200-bed hospital. This hospital is a hospital that will bring people from overseas, like people are living here, go to Ghana for healthcare. And I also want to talk to some of our healthcare workers, some of those that live abroad. So please come and work with the president's agenda. We know some of you are there, you already retired, but you still fit and have the know-how. So please come to your country and let us work with the president for us to be able to achieve this big 5 game changers. Wonderful. So I thank you all, and I know that 2028, because of this big 5 game changers that the president has embarked on, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to accomplish them because he's a president, a talk and do president. And we in the world of parliament, we will continue to work with him and also make sure that we oversee all those that he has put in governance, to make sure we monitor them, they do what they're supposed to do, to make sure we accomplish the president's goal. I thank you all and for giving me the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, for me to be able to debate the president's speech.
And I want to take the opportunity to thank the Honorable Lady for a very good speech. I hope it's an amazing speech, a very good one. And also, if my information is correct, to wish you safe landing, safe and smooth landing. And we hope the story that I've been told is not true, but if it is, you go with our deepest condolences. But please get in touch with us when you are over there. Thank you. My last speaker for today is the Honorable Bayan.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to start by thanking His Excellency
5 minutes
for his credible speech that he delivered to this House. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I guess all of you will testify in this House of Parliament that I've always re-echoed that His Excellency happens to be one of the leading presidents that always practicalizes his manifesto commitments into action, which talks about sincerity. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm going to limit myself on key major areas. 1, paragraph 53, bullet points 10 and 11, which talks about infrastructure, roads, and bridge construction. And also paragraph 24, 5, 6, onto 27, which is the main flagship of His Excellency that talks about Fifth Salon. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we know for sure that in this country there are 3 key institutions that takes care of road construction rehabilitation. We talk about the SLRA, road funds, and NACSA that undertakes the public works program. But in the case of SLRA, they deal more with trunk roads. And all of us here will testify to the fact that the previous or during the 5th Parliament, our government concentrated more on trunk roads right across the country. Just from Twitter onto some other chiefdom headquarters. I can remember there was a time they approved up to 40 trunk roads right across the country for regraveling. And also, like the completion of Kailam Pendembu Road was done by this government. But one big challenge that I've observed about this road construction is that no thorough supervisions are done by our engineers, especially those from the SLRA. Now just take a practical look from Hastings to Waterloo. Sometime when it rains, just at every junction, supposedly from a specification that they give out to contractors, they are bound to at least start 2 to 3 kilometers at every junction. But that is not done. When it rains, sometimes the street is being filtered with a lot of stones and other things. So it means there is no proper supervision done by our engineers. Then even like the 40 trunk roads that I'm talking of, Mr. Speaker, contracts we are giving to contractors, but to some areas, the contractors just abandon those roads. And an example is in Kailam, the Mano-Sewalu road onto Mofindo. The man, when he started, the contractor, when he started, he just did bush clearing from that end until now. He has not done nothing yet on the road up at this moment. The other aspect is about, as I said earlier on, that concentration was just paid on more of trunk roads, forgetting about feeder roads. And when we talk about feeder roads, these are areas where, if we are talking about cash crops, farm cultivation, and other things, these are areas that we need to improve on. So my recommendation to this government is that this time round, if we are talking about feed salon, concentration should be paid to our feeder roads. The other aspect is about the bridge construction. Yes, indeed. It was here that he made a pronouncement about approving 4 major ferry crossing rivers to construct bridges. Of course, for us in Kailam, we benefited from that. That is the Manawa Ferry Bridge. But road linking to that bridge also needs to be rehabilitated. Because if the roads are rehabilitated, then the bridge will become meaningful for us. So with that, I also want to now come to the major flagship please be attentive. It's about the feed salon project. This is very, very much important. We know for sure that farming is not a novelty to the layman in the village. We have been farmers, our great-grandfathers have been farmers. But a question do come into my mind. What is this? What do we have at hand to start this actual feed salon? Are there resources? Do we need to improve on our resources? Yes, of course. If we talk about what? We have the resources, the natural resources, and the human resources are also there. But they are not enough. So, let me just talk in support of one of my colleagues who said yesterday that if we really mean business, His Excellency, especially the Minister of Agriculture, thank God we have about 3 ministers. The head of that ministry, the #1 minister, should at least be doing a supervisory work between the Western and Southern region. Like the Minister 2 should at least take care of the Eastern region, and the Minister 3 should also take care of the Northern region. I think their presence will add more value in the side of supervision. But now, if we look at the entire country, when we look at the topography of our land, you look at the east, we do more of IVS and cash crop growing. In the south and north, there are opportunities to have more of poly land. So, like what the PCMP from Gambia said the other day, that Gambia alone will suffice in in supplying or in feeding this entire nation. So if, for instance, what I want to advise the government is that he should do a radical inclusion. We should not just only hope on the structures that we have, but there are also key players in our country. For instance, we talk about the bike riders, the keke riders. Some few months ago, some of them were on radio saying that bike riding is not their career. But if government has now talked about this field salon project, they are very, very much interested. And I think the issue of agriculture will occupy more jobs for our youth in this country. Then if we also look at like the disabled in our country, just yesterday or 2 days ago, also on the Money for Coffee program, some of our disabled in our own district, they were proudly saying on radio that they are presently cultivating IVS. Sometimes those who are blind will not fully participate in doing some of these jobs, but there are those with minor fractures, they do take part in some of these things. So, but all they need is a sort of support in doing some of these things. So all I want to say, or I want to recommend to our president, is that we need to at least give support to most of these groups if we really want to achieve our aim. And when we talk about this feed salon, I also ask a question. Is it only for these 5 years, or is it going to be a continuous process? If it's going to be a continuous process, we have various institutions that we should also include, like the militaries, the police, the correctional centers, for them to fully participate. Even like the Ministry of Education, so long they are doing this school feeding program, it is good, instead of just hoping on individual schools, but for government to allocate land to them. Just travel within Moyamba to Tayama, or even from Maishaka or so. If, let us say, 2,000 hectares of land is given to the Ministry of Education, and then government allocates a special budget to that ministry, instead of government to continuously be pouring money to provide this school feeding something for children in the school, I think by giving an example to them, a start-up kit to the Ministry of Education, and then employ more of the youth who are in the streets so that they will be working on that land, I think that will help us to achieve this feed salon. So on that note, I want to say many, many thanks to you, Mr. Speaker, and also our President. May you live long. Thank you so much.
I thank the honorable member. For those of you who want to catch my eye, please wait till tomorrow. I think it's a convenient point at which we can now adjourn Parliament to tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you. Have a good night.
Pass me on.
Yeah, from Bulem, we still inside the well of Parliament, as we just don't get from the Speaker of Parliament. Tomorrow, the last day, the debate, the speech of His Excellency, President Retired Brigadier Julius Marabu. So please, join me again tomorrow at the same time. For there, we're doing a live of everything waiting to happen now in the House of Parliament. This is Unity Broadcasting, and I'll continue for Studio.